Hello world, I'm Robin Catling and this is Write On. Join me on my author journey as I delve into the craft of writing, with tools, tips and lessons learned the hard way so you don't have to. Character arcs rise and fall. Part of the editing process is considering how character arcs rise and fall in the course of the novel. Movement, growth, and change are key. There's sage advice aplenty from the writing community. Masterclass gives you the highlights. K.M. Weiland has written the book on it. Thing is, how do you apply it? You probably know what a character arc is, the way a character changes, develops and grows in the course of a story. These days we're big on personal growth. It can be the ordinary Joe becoming a hero, or the hero's tragic fall into villainy. Perhaps it's the oppressed protagonist finding empowerment, or the vain, ignorant, selfish character coming to a state of wisdom, caring and sharing. These are all character arcs. We like to say this is the journey. Types of character arcs. Typically, character arcs break down like this. The heroic arc. Exemplified by the hero's journey, this is every apprentice to master story, from Harry Potter to Star Wars. It can even be an entire team in the sports underdog mould of Pitch Perfect, Cool Runnings, or the Mighty Ducks, although it's usually the team captain or coach who gets the spotlight. The redemption arc. Dickens knew how to do this well. Ebenezer Scrooge is redeemed from greed to good in A Christmas Carol. The tragic arc. Shakespeare wrote this repeatedly. Macbeth, Coriolanus, Othello. All of them are dragged down from greatness to tragedy by some tragic flaw, triggered and amplified by some outside force. The transformational arc. It's every zero-to-hero story from, again, Harry Potter to Spider-Man. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. All of Jane Austen's protagonists move from some state of powerlessness, ignorance, or selfishness to become the heroines of their own stories. You can boil this down further to a simple scale of positive arc and negative arc, with characters walking into or away from the light. Examples of character arcs. Some character arcs are writ large in fiery letters across page and screen. In The Tragedy of Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker turns to the dark side by personal loss and abuse, pushed along by Palpatine. Although this one is so badly done, it's more of a comedy. Marvel's Black Widow is constantly on a redemption arc that she can never quite complete. Held back by her own inability to forgive herself, it's the core of her story from her first to last appearance. Contrast with Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel. Although there's a moment of empowerment that I quite like, the shallow arc of Captain Marvel puts the critics on Black Widow's side. The nature of her struggle is that much more interesting, all without any superpowers at all. We get more subtle but no less satisfying arcs from Austen and Dickens. Lizzie Bennet and Emma Woodhouse each come to an enlightened state, undoing their mistakes and seizing that which they wanted all along. Pip, in Great Expectations, grows from child to man through acquired wisdom. You can argue how much is down to Pip himself, as stuff happens to him more than he goes into action. Lines, curves, and scales, all of which neatly calls back to our 3 scales of character. Part of the journey is seeing our characters move up or down those scales of likability, competence, and proactivity. Movement is change, change is an arc. Up, down, parabolic, sine wave, we just want measurable change that we can cheer or boo or both. But the change has to be satisfying by the end, which is why Marvel's Loki series worked-ish, but Hawkeye didn't. Clint Barton finished in pretty much the same place he started. It's also why the Elena character in the Black Widow prequel movie stole the show. She had so much more room for growth. But what about characters who exist with flat arcs? Certain types of action heroes have flat arcs. from Sherlock Holmes to Superman, hypercompetence and thrilling plots cover that lack of any real development, within or across serial adventures. In the books, James Bond hurtles along with his license to kill, more or less untouched by events. This is why the cinematic outings of Daniel Craig's Bond desperately tried to shoehorn in melodramatic family traumas to bring the sociopath secret agent back in touch with the rest of us. Application. The theory is fine. We can all recognise a character arc, low to high, high to low, ordinary to hero, hero to villain, villain to hero, apprentice to wise master. How do we apply it to our fiction? This is what I'm finding out. Lessons learned coming soon. That's all for this time. Thanks for stopping by. You can like and subscribe to the channel, or go to robincatling.info to check out the blog.